What's up guys, Ryan here from Mudgunner, and today I'm going to be talking about bullpups and their benefits versus just like a standard AR. And bullpup wise, we're specifically talking about 5.56. I do know there are other ones out there as well, like the PS90, which is chambered in 5.7. There's also 9mm ones. I do have a PS90. They are cool to shoot, and there's not too many other guns out there in 5.7 that I've shot. So yeah, there are a lot of bullpups out there, but specifically for bullpups, we're talking about the AUG and the Tavor. I just shot both of these this weekend. I've had the Tavor for years now. I've shot it a lot. The AUG this past Sunday was my first range day out with it, so it was a lot of fun. But I also have the FS2000. I did a video on that last month. I shot my more tacticaled out one with the tri-rail, red dot, fully decked out, and then I had one with the factory scope that wasn't working properly. I still haven't looked into that, but yeah, these ones I think are probably the more practical ones in today's standards for what is available to us, because the AUG is still readily available, the Tavor is still readily available, so that's basically what I'm talking about today. And I guess like topic wise about it, it's just going to be talking about just some of the pros, some of the cons, and my thoughts on them. I do think they're cool. Obviously I own them both, so I do like them, guys. When we're talking about bullpups, there's a common feature between them. You'll basically notice on every single bullpup, everyone that I can think of, the trigger action is in front of the magazine well. So, and most of the time it's the trigger, charging handle, basically everything. Your bolt still goes behind the magazine, obviously, to cycle the bullets, but just the way the action works, like everything is in front of where you load the gun typically. So as far as I know, that's like the defining feature of a bullpup. I haven't like really looked into all that, but yeah, you'll see this is the IWI Tavor, and your magazine is back here. This one still has an AR style mag release, which is cool, but you're pressing a button right here to drop something back here. So it works really well. There's no delay in it. It's very quick. Charging handle right here. So again, in front of the magazine, safety and trigger all in front of where you load the weapon. So very interesting design. And then bolt release is back here. So, that was loud in my ears. Yeah, don't do that next year. Yeah, it's very cool. I like it. It's unique, and they do run reliably. When you look at this, you think of like a video game gun or a movie gun. For us gun people, see this a lot. It looks normal, but to the, I guess, average person that does not know a lot about guns, might just be getting their feet in the door with guns. You look at a bullpup and you're like, that thing looks complicated. Well, the Tavor and the Steyr AUG are actually very like easy. Like they are so simple. It's kind of crazy. Like I can quickly do this. Mine are probably dirty, so I'm not going to do a full disassembly, but I'm going to use my trusty pen right here. Pop this right here. And then watch how fast. There you go. There's nothing else in there. You could take your trigger pack out, but you don't have to disassemble that. Like they are very simple. Like, I mean, I don't know how what goes into them, right? But they are very simple to use and to operate and to function and all that stuff. So don't look at this and think, oh my gosh, that thing is going to be a nightmare to take care of. It's really not. They're super nice, and I would say they're built pretty good. So yeah, same thing with the AUG. The action comes out the back. From what I can tell, first time taking it apart, super easy. So one thing with the bullpups is that is a benefit, and we'll go back to that one because it's not suppressed. One thing that's a benefit is if you look at this and you look at this, you're like, wow, these are the same size. We have a Steyr AUG, we have a Daniel Defense V7P. Now, the difference is this is a 16-inch barrel. It's a 16-inch piston-driven gun. This is a 10.3, I think it's 10.3, 10.5, 10.3-inch barrel. So with a bullpup gun, since the action happens in the back, your barrel is going, I mean, it's basically all the way back here. So you have a full 16-inch barrel in this gun. The other cool thing about the AUG, and remember, bullpups are actually pretty easy. This one's mag release is back here. Clear it. One thing about the AUG specifically is it has a quick change barrel. So push this and then twist, your barrel comes out. Look at how fast that was. So you have a full 16-inch barrel in the AUG. On this Daniel Defense right here, you have a 10-inch barrel. So you do get the benefit of the longer barrel. Now, does that really benefit you? I think it does in some ways, because a lot of people talk about velocity in 5.56 or with any gun really, but you're going to get more velocity and theoretically more stopping power, more damage out of a 16-inch barrel than you would a 10-inch barrel. And that's true. Like there's plenty of videos out there showing what more velocity does with bullets and all that stuff, so I totally get that. Is a 10-inch gun obsolete? Absolutely not. I mean, they are proven all over the world. Figured the HK416, the Daniel Defense Mark 18, there's so many guns out there with a 10-inch barrel that have been proven in conflict, stuff like that. I know law enforcement still uses SBRs. So yeah, 10-inch barrel is still going to get the job done, especially from defense. Now, do you want to take a 600-yard shot with this? Probably not. Do I want to take a 600-yard shot with a bullpup? Probably not, but I've watched the videos. 9-Hole Reviews does really good videos showcasing some accuracy out of these guns. And the Steyerog, I watched his video on this recently. Yeah, there's definitely accuracy to be held in a 16-inch bullpup, as well as a 10-inch 5.56 standard AR. So, yeah, barrel length, you do get the benefit of a 16-inch barrel in a platform that is the same size as a 10-inch AR-15. And basically, you saw how easy that was? That's really what it is. So here, this is on my coffee table. This is on my coffee table. They're the exact same size. Now, the other thing is I don't run this stock right here. I run it normally like one notch out. So right there, that's really comfortable for me. So once we have the stock adjusted, and this is non-adjustable, downside with that, but you see, this is actually, if I can get my sling out of the way, this is actually longer now that the stock is adjusted to where I like it at. And whether it be a stock or a pistol brace, doesn't matter. Now it's longer than the AUG. And then the other thing is when I actually am shouldering it, so let's say home defense, stuff like that, room clearing, the gun actually sits out further. So let me do this like this. So with this shouldered, if I put my left hand out, it's like just slightly behind my left hand. And this is not the greatest way of measuring this, but just how far it sticks out. And it's more front heavy because all the weight's in the front. You have no weight back here really. So as far as balance goes, bullpups tend to balance better too. Because if we look at this, my left hand, it's further out because again, there's similar barrel lengths, but the gun is much closer to me. And then weight wise, there's more weight in the back. So I could probably sit here and shoot this much easier than I can sit there and shoot that. Are you gonna do that? No, but it's just a talking point that this gun sits a little bit more into your body. It's more compact because again, you don't have an adjustable stock. One negative thing I could talk about a bullpup would be the Hellion, which is basically the Croatian VHS2. So Springfield Hellion, they do a bullpup. I want to own that one at some point. Their stock, I don't know why they did it, but their stock pushes it way out here. They made it so freaking long for the stock. It's an adjustable stock, but it's worthless because the shortest setting is way too far for a bullpup. I did see in one of my viewer build videos recently, someone had a stock shortener and that thing looked amazing. So whenever I get a Hellion, which I will for sure get one at some point, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna shorten the stock on the Hellion because they just made it too long from the factory. But most bullpups like the Tavor, the Steyerog, the stock I would say for me, and I mean, I'm 5'10", so I mean, I have lengthy arms, nothing too crazy, but I like how compact it is. Like it's very comfortable. It doesn't feel like I'm really scrunching in here. If I did that with my AR with it all the way in, it feels a little too compact. Like I feel like do you see like how much I have to get in right here? That's too compact for me in its shortest configuration because it's the length of pull from like my hand grip to the stock. Where this, it's actually much better because the grip is further out. So I'm not as crunched in. Like I would be like right here on this if I was crunched in. So they really do balance it well. The Steyerog it was also ahead of its time because of how early it came out. I don't remember the exact year, but super ahead of its time for when it came out. And then the Tavor right here, same thing. It's very comfortable. Sorry, I'm still sitting sideways here. But yeah, it's very comfortable and lengthwise it feels very similar to that. And the reason why I have this one suppressed to show you guys, so here we have a 10-inch Mark 18, and then here we have a Tavor. I don't know if you guys can see the top, but Tavor is a little bit longer suppressed than this. But this one also has the law folder. But what nice thing about the law folder is it kind of pushes it out where I would like it, so I don't have to extend it out anymore. Like, I mean, you can, but like right there. But I would say it's pretty comfortable right there because it's already extended out further because of the law folder. Now, as far as performance goes, again, suppressed versus 16-inch barrel versus 10-inch barrel, I think they're pretty similar as far as performance, minus the ballistic difference between the velocity, because I think most 10-inch barrels are pushing about 2,500 feet per second for 5.56. 16-inch barrel, I think, is pushing 27 to 2,800 feet depending, so you do get about 300 feet per second more velocity out of the 16-inch gun. Now, does that translate to more accuracy? Based off my targets here, because again, I just shot all these this weekend, I was verifying zero, changing optics, because I got this EOTech for this Daniel Defense. It was originally running the XPS2 with the riser, but I didn't like it because I could not use the Daniel Defense iron sights on here. So I put an EXPS on here. It sits a little bit lower than that, but now I can use the Daniel Defense iron sights. All that's zeroed. This one, I can't use the iron sights, but I zeroed the iron sights as best as I can because I did not shoot accurately with these. I zeroed the iron sights and then I threw the EOTech on there. And yeah, it works good. And I actually like that this sits taller for when I'm looking through it because you'll notice it's pretty straight in line, but bullpups they feel different than an AR. So I like it higher. It almost pushes it like this because that one is on a riser and that one's on a riser because of it's my night vision setup. But yeah, I like EOTechs, and I thought this was also a good comparison because I got all these zeroed this weekend. So 10-inch barrel, 16-inch barrel, 10-inch barrel, 16-inch barrel. How did the 10-inch barrels shoot accuracy-wise compared to the 16-inch barrels? I'll show you guys a picture of these targets. Let's see, we got the Mark 18 right here and the Tavor. So Mark 18-wise, I know you guys can see it, but I'll put the picture up. Mark 18, you'll see I got 3 rounds basically in the same hole. Now this was just confirming zero because I zeroed this at a previous date. But on the Tavor here, I got 3 rounds somewhat close and then that flyer right there. So even though the Tavor is a 16-inch barrel running an EOTech and the Mark 18 is a 10-inch barrel running an EOTech, I shot the Mark 18 more accurately with the shorter barrel. Now it has a way lighter trigger, it has a Geisley. The Tavor has a Geisley trigger pack, it doesn't have the Geisley trigger. I have the trigger, I just haven't installed it yet. But yeah, I shot that more accurately. Now, does that mean it's going to shoot more accurate at 600 yards versus this? I don't know, because this has more velocity. Same thing over here. So this one, I swapped the EOTechs. I just got 3 rounds on here, and I'm not saying I'm one MOA shooter, guys. I know this is not the greatest group ever. My 3 shots on my Dino Defense V7 here, not terrible, not great. It could be better. It is a Geisley trigger, but it's a 2-stage trigger. The Geisley in that other Mark 18 is a single-stage trigger. And then if you look at the Steyr AUG target, that one's actually pretty good. So I did get 3 rounds, 2 in 1 hole basically, and then 1 just slightly below. But the Steyr AUG has a 3-power optic. And then it also has an upgraded trigger. This has a lighter trigger than the Tavor. So accuracy-wise, I would say, well, in this case, the AUG was more accurate than the V7, and they're the same size. But in this case, I would say the Mark 18 was more accurate than this and everything else on the couch at 25 yards. This was 25-yard zeroing. These targets, people have asked, these are from Arma Dynamics. I think they're a little bit harder to find online right now. I printed off a bunch at one point. But this is a 100-yard zero target. So you aim for the red right here, and you're supposed to hit the bottom, and it zeroes your gun for 100 yards. Is it exact on every gun using, a 10-inch versus a 16-inch? Versus, a magnified optic versus red dot? Not necessarily, but this is how I zero most of my guns, so I know they're basically all going to be within 0 at 100 yards, and you can push even further than that. So I don't have an issue being accurate at distance 200-300 yards with using this type of zero way. But I have a lot of different 5.56 guns, a lot of different barrel lengths, optics, so this is just a very universal way for me to zero my guns, keep track of it, and I like it. So again, when it comes down to is the Bullpup better than the 10-inch AR or 16-inch AR, I don't think that it's necessarily better, but it does have those benefits. Performance-wise, most Bullpups, I think all of them are piston-driven. I don't know of a single DI Bullpup gun. So the ARs that I have here on the couch, they're direct impingement. So the gas flows through the tube, cycles out the back, where the piston guns, the gas pushes the piston rod, and that's what cycles your bolt. So operating system is different. Accuracy-wise, I would say accuracy within a close range, I get the same performance. As you could tell, like it's roughly the same. It's not like exact, but I wasn't getting 10 times better accuracy with the 6-inch longer barrel. As far as wieldability or being able to wield it in close range, this gun without the suppressor or with, they're about the same size. So I would say it would be just as good in a close range as the AR. Now, the one thing is you got to train with it. I feel pretty comfortable with the manipulations of bullpups because they are different. This does have an AR style mag release right here. It has an AR style safety. But if you don't remember, the mag dropping out here, the bolt catch, which to lock this back, I have to pull this out. So if you don't remember that stuff, and then when you put a mag in, do this way from my head, pushing the bolt release right there, if you accidentally hit it, you have to know all that stuff if you're going to use it. I actually ran this it was like an 8-hour course. This was like years ago. It was Adaptive Firearms down in Tucson. It was a lot of fun. I was the only one that wasn't running an AR. I wanted to run my Tavor, and it held up good. I like it, and I feel pretty comfortable. Basically, all my weapons that are different, I really try to get familiarized with them so I don't fumble with reloads, with problem solving. I have had malfunctions. Malfunctions on odd guns can be weird. I let a left-handed person shoot this, and the round went back in there in such a way it was a pain in the ass to take apart and fix that. I had a malfunction in my FS2000, my one with the factory scope. That was my first time bringing it out. I had a malfunction in that. That was a nightmare disassembling to get that malfunction out because it got stuck, and that's a super internal system. So I would say malfunctions on ARs are generally much easier to deal with than malfunctions in this. But this one, the only one was that left-handed person shooting and then it hitting them in the face and going right back in there. And then Steyr-AUG, I've only taken it out one time. So now no malfunctions to deal with yet, but I mean, the system takes apart super easy. You can take the whole like upper assembly like comes out. So your barrel comes out on its own, and then this receiver with the optic on it completely separates from the polymer mold or housing, whatever it would be considered. So yeah, I haven't dealt with any malfunctions in that, but again, this is a proven design from, I think, the 70s. Recording this as a quick afterthought because I forgot to talk about it, but another thing with Bullpups is modifications compared to an AR. AR is going to be much easier generally because if you look at this Steyr-AUG, how do you add a light to this? How do you add a different grip, like an angled grip if you want? The answer is you don't. Well, I'm just kidding. You can add stuff, guys. This one has a rail on the side right here. I don't remember, well, I don't know if this was factory or not because I did buy this secondhand. I forget if they come with this or not. So yeah, adding a light to this would be a little annoying. It also won't fit in the case I got for it. But yes, lights, slings, those can be tough because you have to buy a lot of parts. So for these sling points back here, these were both purchased separately, which costs money. Let's see, I have a breakdown. So the rear sling mount, that's $75. The front sling mount, that's $44. The upgraded trigger in this to make it bearable, because Bullpups don't normally have the greatest triggers, it's $129 for the Sear mod, and then $56 for the enhanced spring kit, and then you have to Dremel a little bit in there, which I did not do. So yeah, trigger upgrades to make it nicer, a couple $100. Sling mounts, kind of annoying. Again, if you want to add any light, you can buy, like I've seen M-LOK rails, I've seen other stuff. I don't know how much that costs off the top of my head. This one has the built-in vertical grip. I mean, you can kind of fold it up and use it as a hand thing, but if you touch that barrel, you're going to burn yourself, so probably not going to do that. But yeah, modifying a Bullpup is going to be a little bit more tough. The Tavor comes a little bit more user-friendly because it's got built-in pick rails. So it normally has this cover on all the sides. I took the other two off because I'm using them. Oh, that's hitting my suppressor right now. But yeah, underneath the rail covers is pick rail on all three sides. So I have my vertical grip and I have my light. You do have built-in iron sights right here, which is nice, but let's say you had to run a pressure pad. This rail is super tall and you're lacking space. They're a little bit more particular as far as right or left-handed, where ARs, as much as it sucks if you're left-handed and have a right ejection AR, I've seen a lot of left-handed people make that work. It's almost impossible to make it work on something like this because that thing would be right at your face. Like, I don't even know how to shoot, but yeah, that would be right at your face. So it's going to be a little bit more particular in some ways and a little bit tougher to modify, but you see, you can make it work. I've seen some decked out AUGs and everything, so just know that modifying an AR is easier. Now back to where we were. Yeah, I like Bullpups. I'm not saying that they need to replace your ARs or anything like that, but I do think there's a place for them, and I think they're super cool. And I think, as far as I know, they're both still in service. Like, the AUG's been around forever. Tavor, I have a few friends that are from Israel, served in the IDF, and they used ARs. So I think they're still using Tavors and probably the Carmels, which is IWI's like SCAR type rifle. They also have the ARAD, which is IWI's like 416. They have a lot of different guns, but I think they still like widely use ARs, and ARs are obviously proven. So yeah, I do like Bullpups. I do want to do a video shooting all these like side by side. I think it'd be kind of cool. I want to do a video on this here soon. But yeah, hopefully this was a little helpful. Again, I like them both. I just wanted to talk to you guys about my like pros and cons with them and just like how comparable they are to the AR-15. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for my next video.